Can Australia build 1.2 million homes? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Grab your cheap thermos of coffee and let's have a look at this article which is asking the question that we're all concerned about. Can Australia build 1.2 million homes as per the election promises? Now, for those of you that aren't aware, I'm an architect and I do a lot of work with prefabricated and off-site construction. We did a lot in the mining sector, now a lot in the education. There are some significant advantages to rapidly deploying on-site, less time on-site. And there's a big push in that sector as well to help address the housing crisis because you can have these manufactured off-site and then deployed a lot faster to hit the ground running. But that's only one part of the process. Not every site is going to be ideally suited to a prefabricated project. A lot of people want bigger houses or smaller houses, and, builders and developers will target a specific size of house to maximize their return because the headworks charges and the government hoops they need to jump through are so expensive. It's not worth building a smaller little starter house. Now, before we have a look at this article, they're talking 1.2 million. Let's just bring up the building approvals chart here or dwelling approvals from the ABS. I'm just looking here at May 2024. You can see we're not even at 15,000. See that recent spike that we had? That was thanks to the home builder program, where the government gave everyone 15 grand at a minimum to juice up the economy when you spent a minimum of $150,000 on a new build or an extension. Now, this was a fantastic program. Let me just jump back here. This was a fantastic program from an economic stimulus point of view. They get their 15 grand back in GST once you've spent the 150 grand, and it just keeps the economy flowing. The concern with it is that they paired it with the ability for businesses to trade while insolvent. Okay, now there wasn't much commentary on that in the media, not that I saw. Not everyone was as scared shitless as I was as those two things combined. Probably because most journalists are not small business owners and haven't been screwed over in the construction sector. Now, for those of you that don't know, being a builder is a tough gig. Sure, you can make good money, but it's bloody stressful. You've got a lot of legal responsibilities. You're depending on a whole team of people to getting a project across the line, and you've got money coming and going all the time. So what can happen is a builder could be in the hold on one job, taking money from another job and using that to prop up that first job and thinking, she'll be right, mate, kicking the can down the road. But unlike our government, builders don't have an army of people that they can just hoover money up from whenever they want, contrary to popular belief. Although the builders may see subbies as that, that's not what subbies are actually for. Now, that's a terrible joke, I know, but it feels like it sometimes. But the reality is, we've seen with the housing apocalypse, or the construction apocalypse, builders going under. I'd make the argument that the trading while insolvent provisions planted the seed for some of those builders to collapse. And they just kicked the can down the road, and she didn't make it. So we've lost capacity in that sector thanks to the government program. So they want to build 1.2 million new homes. We're barely at 15,000 approvals per month. And let's get out the old calculator to do the mathematics here. 15,000 times 12. That's 180,000 guys. So we're a tenth of the way there per year. So for those of you that voted for the Albanese government, believing this was feasible, sorry. So Australia needs to build its way out of the current housing crisis. This will not only deliver much-needed homes and ease the overheated property market, but a strong, efficient and innovative construction industry is integral to Australia's economic and social progress. I would argue that the housing crisis is leading to our population growth decline. I think this is a fundamental issue for our nation that needs to be addressed. Yet at current completion rates, the National Housing Accord's target of 240,000 new dwellings each year is quite simply out of reach. Australia's construction industry will fall at least 60,000 properties short of its target next year based on average completions over the past 5 years, according to the Building the Dream report released Wednesday by the Bankwest Curtin Economics Centre. Rising construction costs, a financially precarious contracting model, and sustained leak of skilled construction trade workers to other sectors have all conspired to erode the productivity capacity of Australia's building and construction industry and drive a significant number of property developers out of business for good measure. And property developers are not bad guys, everyone. They are the ones building homes. Okay, in a free capitalist society where individuals can achieve, succeed, and not be dependent on others. You want people, you want property developers, you want people risking their time and money building homes. I don't think that's probably not a popular opinion with the youth, but you know, half of them can't even figure out the difference between tax-free thresholds. So what do we got to worry about there? The problem has been building for some time. Housing supply needs to shift away from the current concentration of larger detached dwellings towards a more diverse set of options at a range of price points, smaller and more affordable dwellings rather than the premium end of the market. Yeah, okay. Now, we've looked at this before. This highlights the issue that I've mentioned before about builders needing to build a certain scale of dwelling on the property to maximize their returns. The headworks costs don't change, the land costs don't change, the government expenses hoops, energy efficiency reports, every single thing you need to jump through pretty much doesn't change depending on the size of the house. It may be a little, but not much. So you build a bigger house, you can sell it for more coin. Small little 2-bed starter home, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it, and the market won't be there. So that's a problem that needs to be addressed. We need to find a way to incentivize small projects. There needs to be financial incentives to encourage the private sector to do it. Maybe give them a tax cut, tax break. If you build so many starter homes, little 2-bed. Honestly, I would argue you need a 2-bed modular home with a separate bathroom, not even a garage, carport. If that's a luxury. Get some screw piers, put them down, plonk it on. Then as your family and needs grow, you extend. Either by buying more things or owner building it. So, government incentives to support greater housing diversity are a way to assist the construction industry to overcome the lack of financial viability of new property development projects due to the high material costs and a scarcity of construction workers. A thorough review of building contracting methods is needed to deliver a solution that protects both consumers and builders. It should consider contracting, pricing, and risk allocation models that balance the relative benefits of cost certainty for consumers with financial viability for builders. I agree the current contracts you have now are kind of bullshit, to be honest. They don't really take account of inflation, and that's what's destroyed a lot of builders recently. Honestly, I would argue for maybe cost plus as a method. You're hiring the builder's expertise, and it's just an open book on material costs. You can't legally do that for residential in Queensland here. So there's a whole lot of mechanisms and protections in place for people in the residential sector for consumer protection. So you don't have the ACA sob stories, which I understand why that's in place. But there are issues and challenges surrounded with it. Commonwealth and state governments should lead by example and pilot alternative contracting approaches for public sector construction projects. The homes we have are underutilised. In all the conversations about national housing targets and increasing the number of dwelling completions, not enough has been said about how efficiently we use our existing housing stock. There are parallels with the national debate on how Australia should respond to skills shortages. Much of the debate's focus is directed towards raising migration caps, more training, but far less attention is devoted to how efficiently we use our existing skill base by lowering unemployment and removing barriers to participation. The same is true for housing. Of course, you're not going to remove barriers to participation. You've got entire industries around putting those barriers in place. What do you think the union movement is? I make an argument against the minimum wage because that in itself is a barrier to people getting these lower skills. But it's never going to fly. Never going to fly in Australia. The majority of people would not even be able to comprehend that concept. They want to, oh, you're just greedy taking money away from these people. There's going to be some people that don't have enough work experience or can't even get their foot on that first rung of the ladder because the minimum wage is too high. That's the sad reality of it. So if you advocate for these market interventions by the state, these minimum lines, you are not allowed to bitch and moan about the welfare system because you now have a duty of care and responsibility to take care of these people who can't get that opportunity. You're kicking out the ladder away from them. You can't have it both ways. There were 6.9 million properties in Australia with unused... No. We're not having this debate. We are not bitching and moaning about people having unused bedrooms. We're not a bloody Soviet gulag country where, your bedroom hasn't allocated the significant number of people in them. You need more units of economic input living with you. No, bad article. Bloody hell. If we added together every spare bed... People want spare bedrooms. Don't take people's bloody spare bedrooms from them. It's another office. It could be a nursery. Maybe they're planning to have a family. Maybe they want to rent it out. Let them rent it out if they could. Do not make this argument. No. Bad article. Anyway. A remarkable 12.2 million spare bedrooms. Well, we could make the same argument. What about the toilets? People could be sleeping in the toilets there. Those bathrooms, they should sleep there. You put a little bed up there. Why not? When my wife and I were early in our marriage and starting a business, we converted the front entry space with a staircase and gaps through the floor into our bedroom so we could rent out the master suite to save money. Why don't you do that? Come on, you lazy bastard. That's millions of entry little nooks that you could sleep in. Even if every dwelling with at least one unused bedroom, we used one of those rooms for another purpose, that would leave five. Yeah, okay. No, I'm not. No. Anyway, okay. They've gone off the hinge there. I'm over it. Come on, Alan, mate. No. Bad. So let's have a chat about this one, eh? Fundamentally, the issue, well, there are a lot of issues here, but it comes down to supply. There's no way we're going to reach the housing target. It's not possible. The numbers that we need to get on the ground and completions we need to achieve are just a pipe dream. I don't know why the Albanese government, well, no, we know why the Albanese government put this forward. Because they wanted to be seen at addressing the problem. It doesn't matter if their political promises are never materialize, or if they can even hope to achieve them, or if they even knew it was complete bullshit. They got elected. It's all that matters, isn't it? At least there are discussions occurring now at these different levels. At the state, council, federal government coming together to address this issue. Sadly, this is going to be a slow burn. It's not going to be one election to the next where the housing crisis suddenly gets solved. This is going to be a generational thing. And with our current population growth through people wanting to live in Australia, I think we're just struggling to keep up, let alone get ahead. Anyway, take care, guys. I'll see you next time.